Hi YT, it's Gwendolyn here. Really great to see your next set of essays, also your error list and your corrected essays. Also, thank you for taking the time to answer the questions that I sent you in the last email. Really great to know that you're enjoying the course and that you feel you're having some improvement in your writing. I think you've also improved in your writing since the beginning, so that's great. Let's go ahead and look at these two essays. Let's start with your task 2 here on traditional schooling. I thought you did a good job here of answering the task response. You've looked at both sides of the question, you've given an alternative, and you've given your point of view on the traditional education system with some good examples to back up your point of view. Overall, I thought a good essay. You were a little long on the word count in this essay. Again, 297 words. So let's go ahead and read through it. I'm going to see where we can improve on the grammar and the sentence structure, and then also look at maybe areas we can reduce down some of your wording a little bit. In recent years, with the accelerating pace of change, the issue of educational systems, so AL and then with an S, educational systems, has grown in importance. In my observation, I am skeptical about the idea that it's time to initiate an education revolution and get rid of those outdated traditional schooling. So I think here, this is a phrasing we could get rid of here. It's not necessary, I think, in terms of the introduction and giving your point of view, and I think the rest of your introduction reflects back to this. So I would just say, in my observation, I am skeptical about the idea that it's time to initiate an educational revolution. This essay will illustrate the superiority of former training methods by the example of public schools and learning online to demonstrate points and support arguments. Good. Good introduction there. Some great vocabulary in there as well, like in my observation. That's a nice phrasing instead of I believe. That's quite nice. And skeptical is good. Illustrate the superiority. Good. Some good vocabulary and phrases in your introduction there, YT. First and foremost, one example of alternatives, the online courses, as the solution to widening inequality and rapidly rising cost, have become so popular since the establishment of the internet. Okay, I like your idea here. I think, YT, we just need to change up some of the word order to make this coherent and also flow naturally as it would in the English language. So my suggestion here would be, first and foremost, one alternative solution to the widening inequality and rapidly rising cost of education is I think I've messed that up. Sorry, I had it in my head and then trying to say it out loud is not working. Let me try it again, YT. Yeah, sorry, let me try this again. First and foremost, online courses are one alternative to the education system, comma, which has become popular since the establishment of the internet. So I've taken out this bit about the widening inequality and rapidly rising cost. That's because it wasn't relevant to the task response here, and again we're trying to reduce down some of your word count. I think the rest of your paragraph is good enough to reflect the task response here. However, students who study online are facing the lack of interactions with instructors and peers. For instance, it is impossible to raise hands and express a doubt immediately when learners are confused by material. Consequently, it will be a waste of time for them to figure out those complex questions alone or struggle over familiar issues. Good? Additionally, the scientific pendulum has been swinging back and forth on schooling systems, plural, for decades, and found that providing education traditionally is good for children in all sorts of ways with an S. The concept is that traditional colleges offer structure. I would say structure and routine instead of or, so structure and routine to pupils and ensure that they, instead of them too, ensure that they concentrate on studying. Take public schools as an example. According to a Washington Post report, 2/3, with an S, of students in public schools performed excellent in their, at your pronoun, their examinations, with a plural, last year, compared to those who were enrolled in private campus or home-based education. Undoubtedly, conventional education is probably the best for students who appreciate and need more guidance. Good. To conclude from the examples and arguments given, I firmly believe that it is an unjust affirmation that customary education is harmful. Lastly, in my estimation, those moderation on it will not lead to the demise of traditional brick and mortar institutions. Those moderation on it will not. Yeah, that's a little awkward there. In my estimation, maybe you could just say, in my estimation, modern alternatives will not lead to the demise of the, add your article, the traditional brick and mortar institutions. To make that correct, that was just a little awkward in there. I do like this phrasing, brick and mortar. That's a nice, brick and mortar institutions, nice phrasing of words there. Very colloquial, which is great. Yeah, some good vocabulary throughout here. Yeah, a really good essay, YT. Let's look at your task one. Okay, YT, I paused to read through your essay here. I thought you did a fantastic job with this essay. You've compared and contrasted the key data here. You've written perfect amount of words, 177, that's really good. And you've put in some really nice language throughout this essay to make it interesting. It really shows off your range of vocabulary. I thought a fantastic essay. A few grammatical points, but I think on balance, one of your best essays that you've done so far. So let's read through it. The three pie charts illustrate four categories. I think there's more than four. That was only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 categories. 2, 3, maybe 7 actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 6. The pie charts illustrate 6 categories of council expenditures by 3 regions in the UK in 2014. Overall, the statistics of disbursements in education, community care, social services, environment, leisure, and others are absolutely different for each area. For Yorkshire, the council spent most of their money on education, while in Derbyshire, residents received, no Article A is needed here, residents received huge sums of financial support for leisure activities, which is also the greatest among the regions. In contrast, education and leisure shared, no Article A needed here, shared equal amounts of funds in Lancashire. Good. Disbursements, very good vocabulary there. Equal amount of funds, that's great to see. Absolutely different. Received huge amounts of financial support. I liked that. Good, really good paragraph there, YT. Furthermore, neither one of the councils attached importance to social sciences in that year. Yeah, this is hard to read, this this chart. It was actually social services. I think you got it right there. Maybe you just try to change up some of your word or your vocabulary there. I'm not sure. I think it's okay. Among them, the expense of Derbyshire was the least. However, good. And this I did not understand. However, the big mans of this pretty distinct spent the most on environment and community care in 2014 compared to the others. Yeah, this I did not know what you meant. The big mans of this pretty distinct. What does that refer to? I mean, that's your subject, but I'm not sure. Let me take a look at the graph here. Yeah, I mean, here, YT, you're talking about Derbyshire, so I think I would have to replace what you've put here as your subject. I'd have to replace that as. However, this council spent the most on environment and community care in 2014 compared to the others. While in Lancashire they have a different financial arrangement, which the council commissioned equally on community care, social services and environment. Good. In conclusion, it is obvious that the councils have separate practices in providing funds. However, either the area of education or leisure will never be neglected. Good conclusion there. Good, YT. I thought really good essay here. I think that the only biggest issue was your wording of your subject there. I was a little bit confused there. But overall, both really good essays. As you may have suspected, we've come to the end of the course, and you're really improving, but we really want to make sure that you get that 7.0. So what I want to do, YT, is I want to offer you 2 free essay checks. So I still want you to go ahead and add any mistakes in these 2 essays to your error list. Go ahead and correct these 2 essays with the suggestions given, and then I'm going to give you 2 more essays that I'm going to check for free. So these are in addition to the 8 that you've already paid for. You're improving a lot, but I just want to make sure you have that one more set of extra practice to ensure that you get that 7.0, at least in the writing part of the examination. I can't be accountable for any of the other areas, but I want to ensure that you at least get the 7.0 in the writing. So I'll send those to you. Get them back to me with your error list and corrected essays as soon as you can so we can have a look at them. And also, YT, I want you to time yourself on that essay. I want you to do it under exam conditions so I can give you an honest reflection of where I think you are in the writing portion of the IELTS before we send you off to take your exam. All right? Have a fantastic weekend wherever you are, and I look forward to seeing these 2 additional free essays soon. Okay? Bye for now.